John of God, Jean de Dieu, is the world's greatest musician and the world's greatest dresser. In his own mind, that is. This is really a story about narcissism and how far people actually take it. And John of God is always in the mirror. He's never satisfied with the way he dresses. Everybody's got to cater to him. They've always got to tell him, that he's the greatest and he's the best. So it makes for an interesting, complex character. Guy is probably the star of the film, even though he's not the title character. He's an unemployed hustler. He needs money very badly. You'll see in the images that he lives in poverty, and he probably struggles every day like every other African on $1 a day. So when an opportunity comes up like this one, where he gets a call from the Americans and they're coming here and it's a job, he does everything he can to make it work. But of course, a la Congolais, meaning he didn't start working until he knew that they were at the airport. And at that time, he doesn't even have clothes. He has nothing. His clothes are wet. He's got to rush. He's got to borrow clothes. He's got to take a taxi, which kind of exposes the everyday life of the common African. Brandon, like Guy, except he's the American version. He's a normal American guy struggling with a job and life and relationships and such. And then he gets this call out of the blue, which asks him if he wants to go to the Congo, a place that he doesn't know anything about, like most of the world. So the two of them will converge, and their common goal now is Jean of God, Jean de Dieu. Sandra is the lead female character, and she wants to be famous. She is writing songs, and she thinks even though she's a dancer with Jean de Dieu, one day she'll be out on her own, writing her own music, singing her own songs. But of course, Jean de Dieu doesn't want that because he's a narcissist. So she's trapped under his power. He's a very dominating figure. And what she wants is to get out from under that. She wants her independence. When you bring all of these people together, then yeah, eventually in the story, all of them have to make a significant choice. And it'll all have to do with the making of this documentary. And it all comes together pretty nice. I always really wanted to make a story about Kinshasa because I wanted people to see the beautiful side of it. They always talk about the war, and they talk about how many deaths there's been. They talk about, mountain gorillas and the problems, but they don't talk about the people. And they don't ever see how the people live on a day-to-day life. And I think with this film, once they do see how funny they are and how beautiful the music is and how they handle their problems, they'll realize that they can actually relate. So I'm just hoping that maybe people will want to come to Kinshasa and learn more about the Congolese instead of always being afraid of us or pitying us. For people who might be afraid of filming in Kinshasa, there's no need. It's a wonderful, supportive environment to create art. You realize that it's actually a city full of artists. There's so much talent here. It's untapped, and once we start going and exploring this talent, we're going to realize that we have yet another wonderful resource in this country.